Hey, what's up, everyone? Thanks for checking out the video. This is Southside Braves here for you. And this week, we have the Week 1 preview for the Rocket Draft League. I'm going to be trying to get these videos out every Sunday for the upcoming week. We're going to look at what happened in the past week and then a look ahead at what's coming up. This is Week 1, so obviously there's not a past week to look at. So it's going to be a little bit shorter compared to some of the other ones. But a couple things we're going to do in this one is we're going to look at the power rankings. I did not do these power rankings. I did take them from the other video that was done for the league. If you haven't seen that, I'll make sure to link that in the description. Go check that out. I did take their tiers that they did. They did 4 separate tiers. I did take those and rank them in what I thought. So generally, it's what they did, and then I went a little more specific with it. So that's kind of how this is going to work. I'm not going to go into detail about every single team. I'm going to kind of skim through it a little bit. Again, if you want a more detailed analysis of all of them, make sure you check out that other video. So let's jump on into it. Starting at the bottom. 16th, we have the Richmond Rampardos. And if I say any of these team names wrong, I don't know most of these coaches. I'm new to this league. So if I say any team names wrong or coach names wrong, I apologize. Don't mean to do it. Feel free to correct me, and I'll make sure to get it right next time around. So we do have the Rampardos in 16th here. They're one of 2 or 3 teams, I think, in the league that did not draft a Mon in the top 3 tiers. Their highest purchase, basically, in the draft, if you want to word it that way, was a 7-point Mon, which I think they got 3 of. So they went a little more general with it and not powerhouses at the top, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. That can absolutely work. Biggest reason they're down here at 16th is they have a massive ground weakness on their team. So it's going to be tough to overcome. But I do think one of their best Mons is actually going to be, or I'm not going to say best, but one of their better Mons is going to be Scizor. I think Scizor's going to come in big because of that ground weakness for him. I've always loved Scizor since Gen 1, and obviously with the addition of dual wing beat, it became much more viable. So I think if he can use Scizor well, he can pick up some wins. But again, that ground weakness is going to be tough for him. Litwix at 15, Honchos at 14. Honchos, I think their biggest problem down here at 14th is just a lack of depth. I think they have 6 viable Mons, and then 3 not so much, to be honest, without being rude about it. But yeah, I think you're going to know what they're bringing every single week. So if you can just predict or prepare for those 6, I think you're going to be in good shape against this team. And real quick before I go on, if again, these aren't fully mine, I organize them a little bit. But if you disagree with any of these, feel free. These are just my opinion. I'm not sold to them. And again, I don't know most of these coaches. So some of these coaches might be great battlers, and I'm just unaware of it. So we'll see as the season goes on. So hopefully no one gets offended by these. But moving on to number 13, we have the Vikavolt. I actually really like their core. I might have had them a little higher than the tiers did, to be honest. I might have moved them up one, but they had them down here. I really like the core, actually, of Dragapult, Darmanitan, and Gardevoir. I love Dragon Fairy Steel cores, as you'll see throughout these. So, like I said, I think they're quite a bit above these other 3, just in my opinion. But yeah, so I like the Vikavolt out of these 4 quite a bit. Moving on to the next set. Number 12, I placed myself. I try to be unbiased in all these opinions, so if I can put myself low, I'm usually going to do it. I was in that second to lowest tier, the C tier, in that other video, so I went ahead and threw myself at 12th here. I'm not going to talk much about my own team. Number 11, we have the Pidgeys, who in my opinion might be one of the deepest teams in this league. They went 10 Mons instead of 9 like most other people. There's a couple others with 10, but I actually like the Pidgeys' depth here. They're another team, though, that only went with a 7-point high, no one from those top 3 tiers. So, again, not a ton of, overwhelming power at the top, but very deep, and they can bring lots of different things at you. So that's Pidgeys at 11. We have the Morpekos at 10. I'm going to call them the Arcanines. I know they're not. Feel free, whoever the coaches of that team, to correct me. Arcanines? I don't know. Feel free to correct me. I'm going to call them the Arcanines until I know the correct way to say it. They're at 9. Number 8, we have the Blazikens. That is Coach Sen, my week 1 opponent, actually. I have played against Coach Sen in other leagues. He's an excellent battler. So, yeah, I'm going to be a little worried about that matchup, but we got to have him at 8. He has another one of the Steel Dragon Fairy cores that I like a lot with Heatran, Mimikyu, and Dragonite. I was only sniped once, I think, all draft from what I wanted in this draft, and it was when Sen took Dragonite. I was really looking to get Dragonite at the end of the draft. Sen took it the round before I was going to, and now I got to play against it week 1. So we'll see how that goes. Moving on to the next set of teams. Number 7, we have the Endless Electric. They have a nice little sand team with Excadrill and Sandaconda. So we'll see how well he can use that throughout the season. Number 6, we have the Molts. I assume that's how you say it. I assume it's just short for Moltres, but I'm going to call them the Molts. Again, if that's wrong, feel free to correct me. We have them at number 6. Nice little pair at the top of their team with Tapu Lele and Hawlucha. Being able to use that terrain to get off a seed and then get the Unburden boost with Hawlucha will be nice for him. 5, we have the only team in the league without a logo, so I just threw in a shiny Miltank. If they get a logo, I will make sure to add that. They come in at number 5. They have a nice little Firegrass water core with Entei, Kartana, and Jellicent. So that's not a bad little core for them. And number 4, we have the Helgon Hydreigons. The only other coach outside of Sen I believe I've played before, Coach Blattle. One of the better battlers I know. I think in the 2 seasons of leagues I've played with him, he's lost 2 matches, I think, that whole time. If that, maybe 3. But yeah, he's an excellent battler. So he scares me no matter what team he drafts. So he's up there at 4. Moving on to the top 3. I put the Scizors at 3, the Shock at 2, and the top team in my power rankings before week 1 goes to the Volcarona. And again, I mentioned I love Dragon Fairy Steel cores, and his is extremely scary with Zygarde, Celesteela, and Clefable. That's one of the best cores you can get if you're looking for that Dragon Fairy Steel core. So Volcaronas are my top team going into week 1. Again, any disagreements, feel free to leave it down in the comments. Like I said, I don't know most of these coaches. This could be way wrong, but just wanted to throw it in there. Feel free to drop your own power rankings. See who you think should be higher or lower. So next thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the matchups for week 1. I'm going to give you my predictions for them. All right. So first up, we have the Honchos versus the Pidgeys. Kind of put in some of the key mons for this matchup, in my opinion. The new Ice Horse for the Honchos, I'm going to be honest, haven't got to play with. Don't know much about. I've heard mixed things about it. So we'll see how that plays. Keldeo is a strong mon, and also Victini. On the other side, the Pidgeys bring in Goodra, Poltergeist, and Scizor as his top 3 mons in this matchup, in my opinion. Like I said, they might not even bring these, but this is kind of what I'm expecting from each of these teams. Based on this matchup, both these teams kind of on the lower half. Pidgeys were ranked 11th, Honchos were 14th. One of our closer matchups of the week, but I am going to go with the Pidgeys for this match. I think Scizor is going to come up big. I think if you can find a way to deal with the Victini early, Scizor can do a lot of work. So that's kind of what I see here. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing all these matches, getting to know these coaches. So I'm not expecting my predictions to be very good week 1, but I think they'll get better as we go, as I get to watch some of these battles and how these coaches play. Going on to the second matchup of the week. Again, I'm going to call them the Arcanines. I know that's not right. Until I figure out the right way, that's what I'm going to call them. We got the Arcanines coming in with 3 of their key mons, I think, are going to be Tornadus, Milotic, and Center Scorch. Against our number 1 team, the Volcaronas, with Zygarde, Celesteela, and I think Lantern has a huge matchup this week. If you just look at some of his mons, I think Lantern goes in this week. Against Thundurus and Milotic, 2 of his better ones. Lantern can do a ton. Center Scorch, I think, has a good matchup. I think he needs to bring the Center Scorch, but that's another one that Lantern can deal with. So I think if the Arcanine want any chance in this match, they have to find a way to deal with that Lantern. But Volcarona's top of our power rankings for a reason. I think they have a great matchup this week as well. So I'm definitely going to go with the Volcaronas for my pick in this one. I hope the Arcanine prove me wrong and put up a good match, but in my opinion, this might be the biggest blowout of the week. Just pure matchup-wise. I just think Volcarona's team is just really good, and I think, again, good matchup. Moving on to the third match. We have the Morpekos versus the Rampardos. Again, 2 in the bottom half of our tiers. Morpekos coming at 10th. Again, with that new Ghost Horse. Again, know nothing about, so I don't have much to comment on it. I know it's faster than Gengar, so that might play a good role in this. Arcanine, I think, is a good bring for him, and I think Swampert has a really good matchup in this, so I expect Morpekos to bring Swampert. On the other side, Rampardos, some of their key ones are Gengar, Regieleki, and Zygarde. So I think this is going to be a good match. Excuse me. I think this will be a good match. Another one of the close ones, I think. But I am going to give the edge to the Swampert on the Morpekos. I think it's going to come in nice. So yeah, I think the Morpekos take this one in our third matchup of the week. Going into the fourth matchup, we have the Litwix versus the Miltanks. I don't know. I literally have a picture of the Pokemon in front of me. I couldn't remember the name. Litwix versus the Miltanks here. Litwix, some of their key mons here are going to be the Tapu Koko, Mandibuzz, and I think Flygon has a decent matchup. Just so you know, the way I do these, the first two mons are kind of two of their top tier mons, and then the third one is, I think, the best matchup mon for them against some of the other teams' best mons. So that third one's kind of the X factor, if you would, that I think could have a really good matchup. On the other side, for the Miltanks, we have Kartana, Porygon 2, and Diancie, that I think are three of the key mons here. This is another one that could go either way, in my opinion. I do like the Miltank here. I think Kartana is going to be tough to deal with. That's the main reason I'm going with them. I don't, like I said, this one I don't have as much to say about, but I think Kartana is going to carry this. And Miltanks pick up the win here. Moving on to our next match. We have the Scizors versus the Vikavolt. Scizors coming in with Garchomp, Corviknight, and Volcarona as a very strong top 3 mons to bring in. Against Vikavolt's Darmanitan, Dragapult, and Skarmory. Really like this matchup as well. Like I said, I think the Vikavolts, in my opinion, are the lowest or the most misplaced in the power rankings. I think they could be much higher than 13th. Scizors are number 3, so on the power rankings, this should be a blowout. I actually think the Vikavolts keep this a lot closer than the power rankings would say. I do like the Scizors to take it. I don't think Darmanitan is as great as a top pick as I would have liked, but I love Dragapult. Skarmory, unfortunately, might catch some fire moves this week, but I think Dragapult does a really good job of keeping this match close for the Vikavolts, but I am going to give it to the Scizors here. Probably like a 2 or 3 point win, in my opinion, but not the blowout the power rankings would make you think it would be. Moving on to match number 6, and this is the game of the week, in my opinion. You got the number 2 Shock versus number 6 Moltres. This is the one I'm most looking forward to seeing, so when their battle video comes out, I'm definitely going to be checking that out right away. Moltres, Tapu Lele, and Hawlucha, I think, are almost a must, that little combo right there. And I think Darmanitan has a decent matchup, mainly has to bring that to deal with the Aegislash, I think. So, that's his third one. On the Shock side, I think Aegislash, Volcanion, and Xurkitree are just 3 outrageously strong mons. And I think he brings those 3. I think Aegislash is a really good bring this week. Like I said, Darmanitan can deal with it, but deal with the Darmanitan early. I think Aegislash can really have some fun this week. He could bring some other tech to deal with the Aegislash on the Moltres side, but I like that. Volcanion, I haven't actually seen much in battle, but I do know how strong that thing is. And Xurkitree's massive special attack stat is just crazy. So, yeah, I think, like I said, I think this is going to be game of the week. 1-0. Could go either way. But I am going to go with the Shock to win this. Like I said, I'm really looking forward to this one. If you only check out one battle this week, I think this is the one you should go check out. Outside of my own, of course. And moving on to our last match of the week, because I am going to skip my own. I'm not going to do much talking about my own. I don't want to, unfortunately, give out things that I plan on doing for my match. But I am always going to pick myself. So over in the picks, you can see I put Nidokings down. I do pick myself to beat Sen this week, even though I've never actually beaten Sen. I think I'm 0-2 in my career against him. So we'll see how this week goes, but I'm going to pick myself. And on our final match, we have Coach Blattle and the Hydreigons against the Endless Electric. Another good one here. Number 4 Hydreigons versus number 7 Electric. So this would be my second pick for Game of the Week. But I do like the other one just slightly better. Hydreigons bring in Salamence and Thundurus. And I think Pelipper with the Kabutops duo right there with the Rain and the Swift Swim, I think could be really nice for him to kind of deal with the Electrics, Sandaconda, Sandstorm is what I'm trying to think of. So I think this might be a little bit of a battle of weather. I do like the Rain to beat out the Sand a little bit, getting the Kabutops going with the Swift Swim. I think we'll beat out the Sandaconda Sandstorm with the Excadrill. But again, another great match, I think. But I do think Hydreigons have just a little bit better team and a little bit better matchup in the Battle of the Weather. So I am going to go with the Hydreigons to win this last one. Those are my picks for the week. A little bit of reason why, a little bit of breakdown. I think there's going to be a lot of good games week 1. Looking forward to seeing a lot of these coaches' play styles I haven't played with before. Feel free, if you want to get in on the picks, send me your picks either down in the comments or send me a Discord message. And I'll make sure to keep track of picks, and we'll see who has the best picks of the season throughout the year. I'll keep track of that. So like I said, I'd love to see people get involved and make picks of your own. Those are mine. That's our week 1 preview. Hope good luck to all the coaches week 1. I'm looking forward to doing this again week 2, and we'll see how everyone does. Hope everyone has a good night. See ya.